It's crazy. And looking closer now.
The sickness was named because this animal looks.
Wow. You just can't.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Incredible. The animal is black.
Yeah.
It's literally matte black. Welcome back to the Cryptic Chondros channel. Behind me is the residence of Mr. Bill Stegall from Phoenix Reptiles. So we are over here in Texas from the UK, coming to see Bill for another day. We've been here all weekend, done the show this weekend. We've been to a few different collections this weekend, met some amazing people. But today's episode is all about Bill Stegall from Phoenix Reptiles. We're here to see his collection. If you don't know Bill, go and have a look. You probably know about Bill if you love chondros. So let's get in there, let's see what he's got. It's gonna be absolutely amazing. I've already seen the animals and they are phenomenal. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, because no one else in the UK is giving you content like this. Click the notification button, get locked in, let's go. Right guys, we're here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Bill Stegall from Phoenix Reptiles.
Day 3 of the adventure.
Day 3, right? It's been absolutely amazing. I've had the best time of my life. It's been everything I expected and 100 times more. So
it started Friday,
yep,
and then it rolled into Saturday, and now today.
Exactly.
Coming back and doing a little footage, and
it's been amazing, Bill. And I want to say thank you so much for everything, your hospitality, having me here, showing me your collection, speaking about snakes and just everything. It's been absolutely amazing. I really, really appreciate it. It's been the time of my life.
It's been my absolute pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. So if you, like I said in the intro already, if you don't know who Bill is, which you do, if you love chondros, you know who Mr. Bill Stegall is. He has got one of the most awesome collections of all time. You know, he's got famous animals like the sickness. He's got Jagger, which produced the sickness.
Right.
He's got the flu, contagion, pandemic. He's the amazing names that he has for his animals, which we discussed yesterday.
We talked about that last night.
Yeah, and it's absolutely amazing. Which we'll see the animals soon. But Bill, just to give people a bit of an insight, you know, what animals did you come into this hobby with, and how did it lead into chondros for you?
Yeah, chondros was a pretty slow progression for me. Like a lot of people, most people don't have a chondro as like their first snake. Yeah. So I started and worked with ball pythons and carpet pythons for many years and got great enjoyment with them and still do. But there was some crossover in the carpet and the green tree community, people that I knew, and they finally, after years, convinced me to try a green tree, get a green tree.
Yep.
And I did it, and I was in love, you know, ever since then.
Just fell down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And now you have this amazing collection and facility that you have that we're standing at the moment.
It was a long time ago. So that was probably 13 or 14 years ago. I got my first chondro.
Wow.
And then, you know, just because I'd had experience and pleasure in breeding other species, I knew I wanted to breed them right away. You know, once I got them and fell in love with them. So the breeding started not too long after that. And so now all of a sudden just seems like a snap of the finger and, you know.
Yep. And how, obviously, you have years of experience under your belt. You know, you are helping the community and helping us new breeders and keepers come in, and you're sharing your knowledge with us, which we all appreciate, and I definitely appreciate.
I was there in the beginning too. I still remember it. You know, looking for mentors and, you know, trying to find somebody that would help me, and I didn't feel like I was bothering. And so.
And how was that for you? How was it coming into it? You know, was you welcomed into the community, or how did you find it? Was it with people?
Yeah, very, very welcoming. I was extremely nervous to come into the community because green trees and green tree keepers have this reputation. I think it's more an older reputation than you know, more recent times. But back in the day when I came in, you know, they had a reputation of being maybe not the most sociable group and just maybe elitist, you know.
Which we still do a little bit now, but it's not it's not regarded in that way anymore, and I hope it wouldn't be, because Bill is someone that I've looked up to, and I remember seeing Bill on a Brian Barczyk video many years ago, and finding out about Bill, and since then has been following his progression and his animals and what he's been producing, and I've been in awe with what you produce and your animals, and just the way you are and the way you present yourself, and you welcomed us into your home. You shared knowledge. Last night we had a great conversation after the NARBC at the bar. You know, you've taken us all in, and just so happy to help and just discuss stuff with us.
I think the community to me is every bit as important as the animals.
Yeah.
So I really have made many friends,
yeah.
you know, in this community, in
yeah.
this game that we all, you know, enjoy these reptiles. So
it's amazing. Well, Bill, thank you so much.
Yeah, let's
go see some animals. Yeah, let's go get some animals out.
All right, Sal. So we're going to do a little collection tour here, but I wanted to start here with this animal.
Yeah.
This is Jagger. Jagger was produced by Marshall Mendez, and I purchased Jagger from Matt Morse, who is in Texas, and both of those guys are good friends. So I acquired Jagger, and he has gone on. I believe he's 18 years old.
Wow.
He's been a prolific breeder. I can't even tell you how many clutches that he's produced. But I say that this is the house that Jagger built, because Jagger sired the sickness.
Yep.
And that was my second clutch ever that I produced. So Jager's been a part of the collection from the very beginning, and a lot of the animals that you'll see here today have his genetics in them.
Yep.
So,
and would you say out of all the males that you've bred from, would you say he's probably the best breeder male you have in regards to that approaching and breeding with females and always?
Yeah, absolutely. He's really the only. There's only been one other male that I can recall that I've paired to multiple females in a breeding season.
Yep.
And in fact, 2 years ago, I paired him to 3 females.
Wow. And did they all go, or?
They all laid eggs.
Wow.
One of the females, the clutch eventually went bad.
Yeah.
So I don't. Maybe they were just poorly fertilized.
But he still went with 3 females, and you got clutches from all 3.
No, you got clutches from all 3 and babies from 2 of the 3.
That's amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Not a lot of people can say they put a male chondro to 3 females in one season.
Yeah.
And they get 3 clutches. You know?
Yeah. I mean, he's just special, and as he's getting older, you know, he's going to be probably just 1 clutch.
Yeah.
You know, from here on out. I'm just thankful to get anything else he produces at his age, and how many animals he's produced and all that. But he's really just the perfect chondro. Never misses a meal.
Yeah.
Will lock and breed anything.
Wow.
And just, you know, and it's produced some absolutely insane animals. Yeah. So
and looking at him, is like, for his age, he doesn't look like an 18-year-old chondro, you know?
He looks like he's in really, you know, good shape. He's got, you know, what I would call a minimum to moderate amount of melanism, and you'll see a lot of his offspring have pretty much the same look, the yellow dorsal diamonds, you know, nice spattering of black in the pattern. But then he's gone on to produce some animals that are highly melanistic, like the sickness.
Yep.
And he's also produced animals that are super high yellow.
Yep. So
he has the ability to do it all. He was paired with 2 new females this last year that I have clutches from. So it's always fun to see what his offspring are going to turn into, because nothing would surprise me.
Me and the guys were discussing this last night, how Jagger, it's crazy because Jagger throws out yellow, green, blue, black, throws out everything that you could want. It's crazy. And looking closer now, where you can see where on the lateral sides, as well as the black being absolutely amazing, the speckling through the animal and the yellow diamonds, on the lateral sides, it goes from yellow to scales of blue and then fades up to like a light green. And that contrast in between all 3 of them colors is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
This animal is phenomenal. So you would say that is your cornerstone and your start of your foundation of your animals.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's phenomenal.
I think if we're going to talk about Jagger, we should probably talk about Biscuit next.
Definitely.
And Biscuit was a yellow animal, and I would consider her to be moderately yellow. She was a yellow baby produced by Matt Morse.
Oh wow, she's a yellow baby.
She was a yellow baby. Yeah.
Wow.
And so when she breeds with Jagger, it's always been a mixed clutch. What's been very interesting about this pairing is every yellow from this pairing, and I think I've had 3 or 4 pairings now. Everyone has been blaze. Every yellow has been blaze.
Wow.
From that.
So blaze pattern on all the yellow.
Blaze pattern on all the yellows.
Wow.
Which is really cool. I love a blaze yellow animal.
I think they look incredible, the blaze yellows. But we were talking about this with Alex as well. The blazes look incredible compared to, it's like an in-between between a red and a yellow. It's incredible. Do you think there's a significance between the blaze and the color change compared to a yellow? Or do you think it's just a phase when they come out and they just look?
I haven't seen any appreciable difference in a blaze yellow versus a non-blaze yellow once they reach maturity.
Okay. But it's incredible.
Just a cool couple of years you get during the blaze phase.
Yeah. They're just incredible to look at when they come out. And so Biscuit, how long have you had Biscuit in your collection?
Oh gosh, it's been probably close to 10 years.
Wow. And how many clutches do you think Biscuit's produced?
I think she's produced 3 clutches.
Wow.
I rested her last year, so this year will be number 4. And I think I'm just gonna, I haven't decided exactly, but it'll probably be a repeat of, I just can't not do that pairing because they've produced so many incredible animals. Back to Jagger.
Yep, of course. And again, I love the way how the yellow is mixed in, and it's crazy because the yellow is such an even pattern on this snake.
Yeah, it's pretty close to 50-50. Yeah, I'd say.
And then you've got the blue undertones and the lateral sides. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Well, let's keep going.
Yeah.
This is an animal that's called Epidemic, and for a long time I thought it was a male, and it was just one of those ones where I sexed it a couple of times when it was a little bit younger, and then as it got older, it started shedding plugs, and they looked female, so re-sexed it, and it is female. So Epidemic is interesting because the pairing that produced sickness was Jagger to a Wamena locality or a Highland locality animal. Perfectly solid green animal, but the sickness popped out of it.
It's crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So I repeated that pairing, and I had a couple of animals that looked like the sickness as Neos.
Yep.
And Epidemic was one of them.
Wow.
So so the exact same pairing as the sickness, looked like the sickness as a Neo.
Yep.
But turned into a wonderful green snake with just a slight amount of melanism.
Because a lot of people say that Wamena does throw out a lot of black as well.
Yeah, it can for sure. Even though my Wamena was completely green, it had something special.
Can I go inside and have a? Thank you.
It had something special. With her to be able to produce the sickness.
It's lovely. Still got the yellow diamonds.
Yeah, that's very, many of Jaeger's offspring have the yellow dorsal diamonds.
And the green is lovely. It's like quite a vibrant green, but you've got the undertones of the blues between the scales and then the black speckling. Crazy. I'm sorry. And that's the Epidemic.
That's Epidemic, yeah. And again, you asked about the names, and we talked about this last night. The sickness was named because when he started going through his ontogenic color change, as you can imagine, he looked pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And I showed it to somebody, and the first words out of their mouths is that's sick.
Yeah.
And I agree. And I'm a big Disturbed fan. They're one of my favorite groups. And if you're familiar with Disturbed, their hallmark song is Down with the Sickness. So I named him the Sickness. It was cool. I got to meet the Disturbed band behind backstage after one of their concerts here in Dallas through a mutual friend.
That's cool.
And so told them the story of the sickness.
And
they were pleased.
And then it started with the sickness, and then it moved on to all the other names. So then you kept with the theme.
I kept the theme of really, sick things. Whether it's the flu, epidemic, pandemic, contagion.
That's epic.
Just diseased states.
Yeah.
And I get asked all the time, well, where's COVID?
Yeah.
And I tell people it's a little too soon.
Yeah.
It's a little,
but it'll be coming one day.
Probably, it'll be coming one day. Maybe, maybe this year.
Yeah. Because we had a pandemic, so so I think it's incredible. The names are so cool. Even when I talk to friends that are not into snakes, and I've showed them, and then they see the names, and like, names are just so cool. Like they're wowed by it. And then you've got, over here we've got Cyanosis.
Yeah, Cyanosis is also Cyanosis is not from Jagger.
Okay.
Cyanosis is an animal that I produced in 2016. The male to this clutch was a very beautiful blue animal, and the female was the blue Cyclops locality.
Yeah,
this was her first clutch before she produced the sickness with Jagger.
Yep.
She produced a clutch, and this was one of the animals I held back from that.
Incredible animal. The blue. It's like a turquoise teal blue.
Turquoise, and if you take this animal outside in the natural sunlight, which it would be great if we could film all these outside, because it makes a world of difference. But when you take her out and you look at her in the shade, she is blue.
Yeah, unbelievable. I can imagine, because even under the light in here, the LEDs or the lights that you have in there, she's blue.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine in natural sunlight that blue would be like glowing.
Yeah.
No?
I've got pictures of her on my Instagram account if you want to see how she really looks.
Yeah.
Outside.
I'm gonna pop that in the video so people can see as well.
So they'll be able to see the difference between what these things look like outside versus when you're filming.
Exactly.
Fluorescent lights.
Exactly. Because it's difficult, because I always say this to people, even when you shoot content for YouTube, for Reels, for Instagram, with indoor lighting, in the UK, we don't have much sun. So I can't really take my animals out into sunlight, because it's not, even if it's sunny, it'll be cold. So I can't really get much outdoor shots with the animals. So I have to always take them indoors, have to use light panels with the cameras. But the coloring, you can never get it the same of what it is in the sunlight. The animals look incredible out in the sun. Yeah,
the direct sunlight oftentimes washes them out.
Yep.
But if you just step into the shade, where you have the natural, ambient sunlight, but in the shade, that's where you get the best representation of the animal, I think. And that's where I take all of my pictures. All my pictures are taken outside, in the shade, usually towards the end of the day, when the sun has kind of come down a little bit. And that's where you get their real, if I want to show people what the animal looks like, through a picture, that's how I take it.
Which is great, because then people actually get a true representation of what they're coming to see, or what they're coming to purchase.
Sure, you bet.
So that's incredible. So where should we go next, Bill?
Let's, since we talked about Cyanosis, let's talk about her sister. Camo, same clutch, but definitely not blue. She's got a much, more army green look to her. So I like her. She bred last year for me, and so I'll be resting her this year. Yeah.
Okay. And do you tend to do that with all your animals? 1 year on, 1 year off?
No, it depends.
Okay.
Depends on just how they recover. Biscuit, I bred 3 out of 4 years.
Okay.
So I bred her, rested her, bred her. Now last year she was rested, so I'll breed her again.
So you think it's all about how that animal's condition can come back up?
Absolutely.
And just if back on food, condition comes back to where it should be.
You bet.
And if we're at a good place, then we can go again.
Yeah, and so roughly half the females, I would say, I will breed back to back. I've never gone back to back to back.
Right. Okay. There's always a rest somewhere.
Yeah, I just think it's worth the rest, and just to be honest, I have enough females where I don't need to. I just it's just rest, because I don't want more babies than I can produce and establish and take care of.
Exactly, and you don't want it to have a detrimental effect on the state of the animal. So which is the responsible way of doing it. You don't want to put these animals through continuous stress, and it's different because, like you said, you're resting your animals. Maybe if people weren't resting their animals, we can't guarantee, but it might have a detrimental effect going year after year after year.
We never know. I think it's pretty well accepted that breeding female chondros definitely takes a toll on them. Decreases their lifespan, puts them at risk every time we do it. So yeah, absolutely. Real quickly, we can take a look at Clover. Clover had her first fertile clutch this last year.
Fantastic. Can I go in?
Yeah. Jagger was the sire of this clutch, so this will be the first time I'll get to see Jagger to Camo babies. Camo was a yellow, so obviously there were a mixed red and yellow. Interestingly enough, with her, I did produce some blaze yellow, beautiful blaze yellow, but not all of them. There were a couple of non-blaze yellows in our clutch. So there's something about Biscuit and Jagger together that throws
out some
blaze.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
This is kind of interesting. This is very uninteresting looking animal. Is interesting to me because just not too long ago, within the past several months, I reacquired this animal from somebody locally, and this is a sibling to the Sickness.
Oh wow!
Okay. Yeah, so I name him Sickness Sib.
Yep. So
it'll be very interesting. Of course, I'm going to breed him this year. He's settled in real well here, and so I'm going to breed him this year and just see what pops out.
He's crazy.
He's, like a lot of this Jagger and Sickness stuff, various degrees of melanism.
It's unbelievable. And this snake is 8 years old.
That's right. This snake is 8 years old.
And for me, it's incredible the size difference. He's quite small.
Yeah, I think he was probably maybe a little underfed at his prior home.
Yep.
Which I think is better than being overfed.
Yeah, of course.
But this is probably how an 8-year-old male green tree looks like in the wild.
Yeah.
That's how I picture.
Yeah.
Not some of these monsters,
the humongous ones that we have. And because some people think there's a correlation of, the first 2 years of a chondro's life is where the metabolism at its fastest. They're metabolizing food really quick, growing really quick. Do you think that feeding at intervals, feeding correctly and size animals makes a difference to their growth in the first couple of years? Because you know how sometimes people may keep them on pinkies for too long or smaller prey items for too long.
Yeah, I think there's a correlation between that and, a smaller sized adult.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if one is better than the other.
Yeah.
But I think you can limit an animal's growth by selectively feeding in those developmental years.
Yeah, of course. Where should we head to next, Bill? In this
Let's
amazing
go
collection?
into the back. We'll show a few animals here.
Yep.
So I guess just starting at the top here, this is a female that's in shed. This is Outbreak, so you can tell by the name. It's a Sickness lineage or a Jagger lineage animal. This is actually a female sibling to this. No, this is a female animal produced from the Sickness.
Right.
Okay, so this is a baby from the Sickness. That was when the Sickness bred the blue cyclops locality.
That was an amazing pairing.
Yeah, that was his first and only clutch before the Sickness passed.
That was a phenomenal pairing, and I remember again going back to that old school video that captured me. I remember you speaking to Brian in that video and saying that you was going to pair the Sickness to the blue cyclops that year in that video.
Yeah, and it happened.
And you produced some amazing offspring from that pairing.
Oh, thank you. This is another Sickness offspring from the same clutch.
Wow.
More melanistic, than a lot of the animals. Again, this camera is not going to do any justice to the way that this animal looks.
Wow. You just can't, again, because of the lighting, you just can't capture it, but the sheer amount of black on this animal and the tone of the green and the yellows and the blue and the diamonds, it's just got everything.
Yeah, it's a beautiful animal.
It's got everything. It's phenomenal. Would you say, Bill, again, you might not have a favorite, and it's a difficult question to ask, but would you say your favorite productions are from that Sickness descendants from the Sickness?
I would say so far.
Yeah.
But we're going to look at some stuff next door that may change my mind.
Yeah.
But
some crazy stuff.
So far. And if we're going to speak of that, then we should probably speak of the sire that I'm going to show you a couple of clutches in here. So this is an animal that I've named Freight Train. John Irby produced this animal from two melanistic animals. The male was Soul Train and the female was Striptease. So this is Freight Train. And
wow.
Freight Train sired 2 clutches for me this year.
Yep. And
I've just been ecstatic with the way that those animals have looked.
This animal is just blue. It's phenomenal. This animal is not green.
No, it's
It's and the black in it,
blue and black. You know, that's what I like.
It's unbelievable. And this is the father, the sire to the clutch. That's my favorite clutch, and I think a lot of people's favorite clutch at the moment.
Yeah,
not saying that
including mine.
I'm not saying the other clutches are they're all amazing, but I think the neonates that we'll see soon is the ones in that clutch. I think have blown a lot of people away.
Yeah, they're very unique.
Yeah, I think one of and the only ones to be seen like that so far.
Yeah, I haven't seen many that I can think of that have the characteristics that these do. And it was a consistency, not just one.
Yeah.
But it seemed like every time you open the tub, it's like, wow, 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 wow.
Yeah, they just keep blowing you away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It is. And
I was going to say, before we look over there,
I
wanted to show off my animal from my friend Mark Hager.
Yep.
This is TX 2311 calico line animal.
Yep.
It's the first calico blood that I have in my collection. Phenomenal animal. So super excited to see what he or she does in the future.
And did you want to go calico because it's just something you didn't have?
Yeah, a couple different reasons. It's something I didn't have. Mark's a very good friend,
of course,
of mine, and I didn't have anything from his collection. So those two reasons.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal animal. It's black. Me and Mark actually shot a video in here the other night, and he was talking to me more about the calico line, and he took the neonate out. But it's a beautiful neonate, and I guess it's new blood as well to bring in for you. It's
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It's new blood,
and I think it'll definitely work well with the phenotype of the animals that you work with as well.
I agree. I think so too.
It'll be incredible. Where should we go next, Bill? Following you.
Let's go in here and look at those babies we were talking about.
Yeah, Bill also has some beautiful art on the walls. I have to say, I've got going around your facility, Bill. You have beautiful pieces of art.
Well, thank you. I've been very fortunate. A lot of people have just wanted to paint or portray my animals, and they've been very generous with their time and talent.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
So this is another descendant of the sickness. This is the flu.
I love the name. It's one of my favorites.
The flu.
Yeah.
And the flu looks quite a bit different than pathogen or contagion. This thing is insanely blue. And again, with a lot of melanism.
I would say this is one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites too.
Incredible. The blue on the dorsal area especially is such a light. It's just
powder blue.
It's a powder blue. Yeah, it's a powder blue. That's exactly how to put it. It's powder blue. It's amazing. And then you've got the lateral patterns with that powder blue as well. Looks amazing. The yellow diamonds are lovely as well. It's like a burnt yellow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It's not the bright yellow of a fresh Neo. It's definitely
like a golden.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Do you have any plans for the flu?
Well, the flu sired his first clutch this year. I bred him to a Manicouri locality type, and we're going to see a few of those babies as well.
Incredible. I have to say also the enclosures you have, Bill, are beautiful. We don't have these. I spoke to Stephen and Ashley.
Yeah, our friends at Focus Cube Habitats.
They have incredible enclosures, but they're just obviously we can't get them in the UK yet. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
But they're amazing. The quality of them, seeing them in person, and seeing the true quality of these, and even what amazes me, I love the most is the perches, the carbon fiber perches. I love them. I think they're so cool.
Yeah, they're absolutely beautiful, and they do all sorts of custom work. You can see the reflexive Phoenix Reptiles logo there.
Yep. These are my favorite, actually. The wood ones over there, but we'll get to them.
Okay.
But I think that the wood look I love the wood look. So we've done the flu.
Yeah, if you come down to this animal, this is also an important animal to me. This is an animal I did not produce. Drew Russell produced this animal.
Yeah.
And I can open this up for better through that acrylic. This is an animal, since Drew Russell produced it, I named it Mountain Drew. Because I think it's got kind of Mountain Dew like colors. It just reminded me of Mountain Dew. And then I said, let's just name it Mountain Drew. So this is Drew 1809, a female that had her first clutch this last season. She was bred to Freigh training.
Beautiful pairing, unbelievable pairing, which we'll see Neos from in a little while. But the the neonates coming from this pairing are absolutely mind-blowing. But she's beautiful. She's incredible.
She was a red baby, but she's got some really wild lineage. She's got blue line, Trooper Walsh, blue line, and believe it or not, Kofiau.
Wow.
There's a high percentage of Kofiau, even though she's a red.
Yep.
And she's got some Biak in her. And I think some of that craziness was part of the reason that her and Freight Train's babies were so crazy.
Yeah. A mix of a genetic, just crazy genetics.
It's like that's like the definition of a designer pairing. Where you would, these things should never have ever like come together in nature and produce babies.
Yeah, but they have, and they've produced something out of this world.
Yeah, let's look at them.
Yeah. So Bill done very well. How many clutches did you get this year, Bill?
Got 6 clutches this year.
I take my hat off to you. That is incredible.
It was a wonderful year for me. I was very, very excited. Every ovulation I got was a good one, but it just seemed like after the first 1 or 2, and then they just kept coming, and I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And certainly, they're not all going to lay fertile eggs, and well, they did, and they, most of them hatched, and just.
Would you say it's the best year you've had?
By far,
yeah. Wow.
Last year would, every year it's supposed to get better every year, right?
Yeah.
Last year, was my second best year. I had 4 clutches. One of those went bad during incubation, so I ended up with 3 clutches and roughly 32 babies.
Wow. So, and this year 60 babies.
This year 60.
Wow. That's a big accomplishment, eh?
Yeah, so it's been a good year.
Putting one of the main people putting Texas on the map. Texas is absolutely smashing it at the moment. You've got so many breeders producing so many clutches.
Patrick produced 6 clutches this year as well, I believe.
It's amazing, and it's great to see that the community that you guys have is unbelievable. But you guys are really, in my eyes, the heart of where chondros are in America at the moment. It's Texas.
I would agree with you. I'm a home field guy, of course, but I think a lot of good work is being done in Texas now.
Yeah, definitely.
So, well, let's look at some of his babies.
Yeah.
I think maybe before we do that, I'll just show you. There's one of these, the dams to the Freight Train. I mentioned Freight Train was paired with Mountain Drew.
Yep.
The Freight Train was also paired with this female down here, Bill 1709, which we now affectionately refer to her as Pink.
Okay.
And you know why that is, right?
No, tell me, please.
Well, because Alex took her off of her eggs with Pink Panther, big welding gloves.
Yes.
Gloves, yes.
I've seen a clip of it.
I wish I had them. Here they are. These are Alex Warren's infamous blinged out pink gloves.
I've seen the video clip, but now I can see the link to why she's called Pink.
That's why we call her Pink.
That's incredible. We'll put Alex in this video up. I'll do a little pop-up so people know who Alex is. But they'll see his collection tour as well, which he has some crazy Bill's animals as well over there.
Have you already done his tour?
I have, yes.
Okay, great. Looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. So
on to some of the babies produced this year.
Okay.
The first 2 clutches I'm going to show you are Freight Train sired.
Mm-hmm.
Freight Train bred to Pink will be the first ones, and they produce just some stunning animals. This is very reduced, very not even red. This is more of a chocolatey brown baby with these beautiful. I love the orange diamonds. Most of the diamonds on these red babies are either white or yellow.
Yeah. And
I think every single animal in here, almost, you're going to see orange diamonds instead of that.
It's incredible. It's like a brown maroon.
Mm-hmm.
It looks matte. It's crazy.
And the eyes too. Look at those eyes.
Wow. Look at those. And it's true what you say with the diamonds are rich gold.
Yeah.
Over a yellow.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
So I guess, probably most of these we can just kind of pick and choose and go through. There's a couple that I'd like to show you.
Yeah, of course.
This is one of the animals from that clutch.
Wow.
Along with the first one that I'll be holding back. You can see some black in this animal.
So this is one of your holdbacks?
This is a holdback, as was the first.
Oh, the first was a holdback as well?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Incredible. It's very similar to the first, but it seems like a darker undertone.
Yeah, I see more black in this animal
Yep.
than the first one. And then moving down farther, a little bit farther down, this is freight train babies that were bred to Mountain Drew.
Yep.
Freight train to Mountain Drew, and we can start looking at. They're obviously a little smaller. They're fresher.
Yep.
These animals aren't but 8 weeks old. But again, this is everything I look for in a baby. Super dark red, minimal patterning. The patterning that's there is that gold, and you already see black in this animal.
Wow. And what gives you the? Do you know? Obviously, you've got the eye for it now. You've bred many animals with black melanism traits. Do you think there's a specific pattern or a color that is linked directly with forming that black melanism?
Boy, it's really hard to say. Every time I think I've got it figured out, I get burned by an animal that I see that I released that turns out, and it's incredibly melanistic, and I would not have thought that the case the way it looked as a baby. So these things continue to fool me, which is all part of the fun for me.
Yeah. The change is like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're gonna get.
It is, and you think you might, and you think you might know what you get, but you don't know what you get, especially with Jagger.
Yeah,
he's just in the sickness stuff, and we'll see what happens with the freight train stuff. The freight train stuff may be very consistent and very predictable, but so far, I haven't done a very good job holding a lot of my holdbacks.
But at least, yes, it would have been great to have them with you. You can't guess what they're going to turn into, but at least you've got phenomenal animals out there in people's collections. Sure. People show them off.
Yes, in their hands, and that's very good. That's very good for the community.
Definitely.
Yeah, as you know, this is one of my favorite ones.
Yes.
So this is Bill's 2339 freight train, bred to Mountain Drew, and it is the blackest baby I've ever produced, the darkest baby, and very minimal pattern. I mean, just a few speckles. Look, he's up there moving his head, a lot of black in his head already.
The animal is black.
Yeah.
It's literally matte black with a super reduced pattern. Even the eyes are super dark. It's incredible. I don't think a lot of people have never seen something like this. Would you say this is the darkest Neo you've ever produced?
By far. And
wow.
We don't know what's going to happen with this baby, obviously, but I would be very, very surprised if it turns into a green snake.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be...
Do you think it has potential to surpass the sickness in regards to the way it phenotypically may look?
I don't know. I don't think anything could... I mean, to me, he was the perfect amount of black, blue, yellow.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm never going to say never, but I think it would be unlikely.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be something special.
The sickness did have a fantastic ratio. Like everything was in perfect order.
Yeah.
So I can understand that.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Some more of these. This is very interesting because this is very heavily patterned. Kind of the same baseline brown, chocolatey brown color, but very heavily patterned compared to the one we just saw.
Yes, the pattern's very busy. We can see that little caudal law.
Yeah, he's doing it a little bit, the white tail.
Yeah, the pattern's very busy. But again, the diamonds are that gold.
They're gold, yeah. They're not the white or the yellow.
No.
And so it's interesting to see this animal side by side with another of the clutch mates that is this.
Wow.
And this is the only really, I'd say, completely patternless green tree I've ever produced. There might be one fleck, two flecks on him, but the rest of it is just the chocolate brown and black.
Like you said, when you put them side by side in one shot, these are from both the same clutch, and you can see on the left we've got the super busy pattern, the gold diamonds, dorsal, and on the right you've got an animal which is matte black maroon with nearly no pattern or any pattern. There's nothing on there. That is incredible.
So yeah, you can see why I'm excited about Freight Train's offspring this year.
Yeah.
I'm excited for a lot of reasons. It's fresh blood in my collection. I've never got to see Freight Train animals go through their ontogenic color change.
Yep. So it's new for you as well as everyone else that'll be watching to see what happens. But for you,
yeah, it's new for me too.
Incredible. Incredible.
We'll look at an animal or two real quick
Yes.
of the very last clutch that I produced this year, which was the Flu.
Yes.
Sickness baby.
Yep.
Bred to this Manicouri locality female type that I've had ever since she was a red baby. She came from Bushmaster.
Wow. Beautiful, perfect diamonds, hollow diamonds with the speckles.
He's just a classic red neonate Manicouri locality type. So I thought it was a great pairing for the Flu.
So this was the dam.
Yes.
And the sire, as we've seen previously, guys, was the Flu, which is up here, which is the next clutch that we're going to be having a look at. But again, absolutely phenomenal. So let's have a look at those.
This was actually a mixed clutch. I got a couple of yellow babies out of here because we haven't even looked at a yellow baby have we, today.
I didn't think they existed in the Stegall residence.
There are a few. And this one's stunning.
It's got a lovely pattern. Lovely shade of yellow. Lovely pattern. And would you say, right, we all know from previous podcasts and videos, you're very much a red neonate man.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. That's what I'm trying to produce, but I get some yellows, as part of the process.
And do you plan to ever hold back any of the yellows, or you think you want to stick it to make a dominant red collection?
Yeah, I haven't held back any yellows. I think the closest thing I did to holding back yellows was to putting 2 of them in the hands of Mark.
Yeah.
That's the closest to me holding back yellows. Yes.
They're local. You know where they're going. You can see them change, and you see what they can produce.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to what he can produce when he mixes with his yellow stuff, because his yellow stuff is really unique.
Yeah, incredible,
special. So
yeah,
I'm glad to be able to kind of vicariously see yellow stuff in his hands.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
And put some Bill's blood into that project that Mark's got going on.
Absolutely, because Jagger has, as we talked about, has sired some incredible yellow offspring, and these are Jager's grandchildren.
Yeah. So that's incredible.
I'll show you one more.
Yeah, let's see a red they produce.
Yeah, one of my red holdbacks.
Wow.
This animal's incredible. Super high expectations for this animal. I think there will be a lot of blue and a lot of black just based on how he looks and his lineage.
Super dark. Wow.
This is more typical. You'll see, I don't know if your camera will capture more yellow and white diamonds or slashes than the burnt orange that we saw with Freight Train's babies.
On previous, I'm capturing it most definitely. You can definitely see the shade difference from the previous. And would you say that you've ever produced a Neo and thought to yourself, that looks like a baby sickness? That very similar in pattern, very similar in color, very similar.
Yeah, I think we talked maybe before we started filming about an animal that I call Epidemic out there that was from the repeat pairing that produced the sickness. So not a clutch mate to the sickness, but the same parents 2 years later. Neopics looked almost identical, and I was really, really excited. But it didn't evolve into anything like the sickness. It's a wonderful snake. It's a female. I'm a breeder this year. But yeah, to answer your question,
it just wasn't him.
No.
Okay.
And I think let's kind of end here with we talked about our friends Stephen and Ashley at Focus Cube Habitats. It's a beautiful set of cages that they brought me. Gosh, I guess it's been a year or two now. They look like living room furniture.
Exactly.
I would be proud to have these in my house.
The quality of them is absolutely amazing.
Wonderful. They've got this floating Focus emblem that's in there. And these cages are just phenomenal. These cages are actually built with a fan in the back.
Yeah, I've just noticed that next to...
That is on a timer, and in the afternoon that fan goes on and it sucks, circulates air through the cage. It brings out through the back, And that's nice because I can come in here and I can really wet down these puppy pads, the substrate, spray the cage down, and it'll have a nice high humidity cycle until that fan kicks on.
And it extracts it.
It runs for 2-3 hours on a timer.
Wow.
And it sucks it all out. It's nice and dry at night and then repeat.
That's incredible.
So
that is really, really smart. You don't get, I've never seen that before.
It's a really neat concept. And
that is amazing.
And a lot of these focus cages in here.
Yeah, as you can see,
built in.
They're incredible. And some more incredible art behind you.
Yeah, some wonderful stuff.
And a canvas here. It's incredible. It's yeah. I'm in amazement. I'll let you lead the way, Bill.
All right. You said you wanted to look at some short tails.
Yeah, let's see some other side of what Bill does. Let's see what other side of what Bill does. As you can see, Bill's facility is huge, with lots of ball pythons or royal pythons.
I do a lot of royals. Yeah, do a lot of royals, carpets, rough scales, and then wanted to look at some Borneo short tails. Today.
I think I love short tails, bloods, etc. I absolutely love them, but we don't get them much in the UK.
Okay.
And I think Alex did show me one the other day, but the sheer size of them.
Yeah, they're big animals. I did produce one clutch this year of Borneos, they're fun. They're so much different than green trees.
Wow.
In fact, they're the opposite of green trees. They're massive, thick, ground-dwelling monsters.
They're incredible. And have you been bit by one of these before?
Not an adult, and I do not want to be. Not so much they have small teeth, but the force of their strike
the strike can
break glass. I mean, it has, not for me, but I know people that have, there's been a strike against glass and it shatters it. It's so powerful. I would be more worried about it breaking a bone in my hand or something like that
than the bite itself.
Yep.
Crazy.
So, I keep 5 adults, and then we could look at a couple of the babies that
you produced.
That I produced. They're really cool. I did a side swipe to side swipe pairing this year.
Wow.
Just really, really pretty animal.
Wow.
You can see where it gets its name, side swipe, from the side patterning.
It's got lovely striping all the way down with deep browns and like a vanilla cream.
Right, exactly.
It's amazing.
And its eyes are just magnificent.
Wow.
Amber colored eyes.
I think they're amazing. I think they're incredible. There's one more animal in here that I think I fell in love with. And I think it amazed us all. I want to go and see your Carpondra that you have.
Oh, the Carpondra, yeah.
As a last piece before.
Yeah, the Carpondra is very popular for good reason. So he's a hybrid between a GreenTreePython and a carpet python. This one's male. Looks very carpet-like to me, but acts very green tree. You rarely see him on the floor. I mean, rarely.
Perches. I remember you mentioned this the other day. It's incredible because it perches exactly like a green tree. So it's nice. It's on show all the time. Instead of being one that ground dwells and hides constantly.
Most of my carpet pythons would prefer a basking shelf as opposed to a perch, but this thing likes to perch.
Yeah, which you've got some incredible carpets down here and
rough scales, carpets.
Yep. But that Carpondra is amazing. The depths of the yellow of it, it's incredible. So, Bill, thank you very much for having me. I want to say it's been an absolute pleasure being here. I really appreciate you having me and showing me your collection, and the hospitality was great, and having us here for the pre-party. It's been amazing. It's been something that, it's the whole trip has been amazing, but I really appreciate everything you've done while I've been here.
It's been a wonderful weekend, my friend.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Look forward to seeing you next time.
Definitely. Every year. Thank you, Bill.